Welcome, armies of the Chitauri. This is Andy.
And this is Mike.
And welcome to our next installment of Road to Infinity War, where, if you can't tell by the t-shirts, Mike?
Yep, right here.
Yeah, okay. If you can tell by the t-shirts, we're at the Avengers.
The culmination of Phase 1.
Oh, my God. Honestly, let's just go right into what works about this movie.
That's gonna be the bulk of the episode right here.
I can't believe they pulled it off.
Yeah.
It is. This was unheard of. So far we've talked about 5 movies. Yeah. 5 movies in the MCU, leading into one feeder system of a movie.
I mean, right from the get-go, you knew that they had something special going on when they got like the king of both the comic book nerds and of the directing a group ensemble movie.
Right. Yeah, and this is just it's a really well told story with a great three act structure. It defies kind of how Marvel was doing their movies, and quite honestly, it also defies too how movies get made, and created the this expanded universe that everybody else has tried and failed to do.
I'm still holding out hope for the Valiant universe.
The Valiant universe?
Yes. With Exo Man-O-War and Bloodshot and yada yada.
Okay.
It's more of an independent comic book run.
All right. Yeah, no, it's so hard to put into words what I love about this movie. I feel that everybody was on. This wasn't a paycheck movie for anybody involved, including Robert Downey Jr., who made a lot of paychecks.
Yeah.
For this movie, the back end deal is just crazy. It's crazy for this.
The moment I knew that they had something really special going on, you had Black Widow confronting Bruce Banner, played by Mark Ruffalo now.
Yep. We'd finally have Hulk permanence.
Yes. But the moment that they were on that the deck of the aircraft carrier, and then suddenly the turbines came up, I'm like, oh, they're going for the helicarrier. Oh, they're doing it. Okay, I'm in. I didn't think they'd go that far. I really didn't.
It's one of those cool Easter eggs that you didn't know you wanted it until you saw it.
Yeah. And
some of the stuff in regards to that, especially putting Banner.
Oh yeah.
On a floating battleship.
Oh yeah, that's much better.
Yeah. But there's a lot of great banter just to start off the movie, so everyone can kind of establish their relationships. The stuff with Coulson being such a Cap fanboy.
Oh, I have your cards. They're mint.
Oh, you're gonna love the uniform. I had a hand in doing it.
When they found you in the ice, I used to come out there before you woke up. I didn't watch you sleep.
Well, there's that great bit too where he's like, "I bet you $10 you haven't seen everything,"
and then
the thing rises up and he hands him the $10.
That's great because it's just a callback that you have to put together. Because you just see him just hand him $10, like, what? Oh yeah, he said that.
Right. It's a clever. The movie itself is very cleverly paced, very cleverly written.
Well, that's Joss Whedon to a T.
Right. But it can also easily. You don't need to do the other 4 movies or the other 5 movies.
No, it definitely helps, but on its own, it's still an epic team up, Marvel blockbuster. Right,
exactly. It helps, obviously it helps if you've seen them, so you're somewhat established with the characters. But and that's the other thing too. They did such a good job leading into this, developing these characters to make them work together. like this. Again, you hadn't seen anything like this before, where a character from one movie is meeting up from a character from another movie, and then a character from another movie on top of that, and they all have to work together.
Again, fighting against a character from another movie.
Exactly. Until they bring his brother in.
Yeah, I mean, and let's just say, I liked Loki a hell of a lot more in this movie than I did in Thor. I liked him in Thor. This one, I thought he shone.
I really enjoyed Tom Hiddleston in this. It was nice because he had a master plan. Now, that master plan is also the kind of Joker from Dark Knight master plan, which involves you getting captured.
Yeah.
And then having a perfect set of circumstances come together.
Why do I get the feeling he's the only one that wants to be here?
But yeah, he works really, really well. And just the fact that he's the big bad, but he's not really the big bad because the big bad has yet to be revealed.
Yeah, well, the big bad's coming up in May.
Yes, exactly. Which is, again, this is what we're culminating to. Christ, 8 years later.
Yeah.
Is it? No, 6. No. 2012, 2018.
Yeah, 2012, yeah.
6 years later, and I think about another, 12 movies?
Wow, it's like from 2008 to 2012, 4 years, they had 6 movies.
Yeah.
From 2012 till 2018, they have 15 movies? Or
the 2 and then the 3 year per year releases.
Yeah.
Get a lot with that. Let's run down the roll call real quick. Robert Downey Jr. is very, very good in this movie.
Oh yeah. He's
not a revelation. I don't think he's a revelation that he was in the first Iron Man movie, but he's definitely game to be in this movie.
Yeah. He's the same guy that you want to see. He's trying to figure out what's the angle on everyone. But he's still got that cocky, smarmy feel about him that he's always had. Yeah.
All right, Chris Evans is Captain America. Always. He gets better, I think, with every preceding movie.
Oh, absolutely. Well, although we'll get into the downside here. But yeah, every time you see him, he just gets progressively more Captain America-ish.
There's that great bit whenever he doesn't understand anybody's modern references until they finally talk about the flying monkeys. He's like, I got that reference.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's what you get for being frozen in ice for 70 years.
Yeah. Chris Hemsworth is Thor. Again, putting him with people as powerful as him or almost as powerful as him.
I mean, this one really kind of starts to show you that Chris Hemsworth has got great comedic timing.
Oh, very much.
Great comedic timing. He is still my brother and an Asgardian.
He killed 40. He killed 80 people in 2 days.
He was adopted.
Yeah.
Plus, go ahead.
I was going to say that there's a great bit at the very, very, very end with the shawarma eating where it's just, he looks like such a goofball when he's eating. And it's like, you could just make a video of Chris Hemsworth as Thor eating things. And I'd probably be very content watching it.
I love Chris Hemsworth in that scene, but I really love Chris Evans in that scene because he's just like, are we really doing this?
Yeah.
But I was going to say,
versions.
I was going to say with Thor, his fight against the Hulk is by far one of the highlights of this movie.
Yes.
That's something.
It's great because it's very fast paced. It doesn't let up at all. And it's short.
Yeah.
It doesn't belabor a lot of the stuff. I mean, and that's one thing I think that they do a great job of in this movie is the best use of your time and your pacing throughout the movie. There aren't, and I've gone on record saying I think the first 15 minutes of the movie are kind of dull. Comparatively, the movie, and even when you compare it to the first 15 minutes of Age of Ultron, it is comparatively dull.
Yeah.
But it picked up very fast the second they flash the Avengers card on the screen, and then they go right to Natasha. It's fantastic. Speaking of which, I think maybe the most underrated character in the movie is Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow.
I think that introduction scene, her interrogation scene, is probably the main reason why everybody's been so busy clamoring for a Black Widow movie. Because that scene was brilliant.
It's a snippet from a movie that was never made.
Yeah.
She is very good. She is definitely, as an actress, isn't letting her looks rule overall, which is great. I think some of the stuff that she did, that scene, and especially the scene when Loki is like trying to get into her head, and he gives away everything.
Yeah, and she just turns the tide. That's the way she just like goes from crying to on a dime. It's beautiful.
Mewling Quim, which got past the censors.
Hey, it sounds like something an Asgardian would say.
Yep. Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye. I mean, I felt up until the third act very underutilized in what he was doing. Hawkeye.
The only problem is with the story that they were telling. Even if he hadn't been turned evil for most of the movie, he really wouldn't have had a whole lot to do.
No, he would have just been another S.H.I.E.L.D. agent on the helicarrier.
Yeah, so I think in order to introduce him and really get him into the Avengers, you kind of had to do what you had to do. I mean, it was a detriment. He did a lot more in in Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yeah,
but you kind of had to. I mean, you only had so much room in the basket.
Exactly. And then Mark Ruffalo is the Hulk, who is our Hulk now. Always will be now.
Yeah.
He was fantastic. I liked a lot of just the unsureness and the fact that he's very, very aware of what can happen to him.
Yeah. And like when he's like he thinks that they're bringing him in because they want the Hulk. They're like, no, we just want your mind. You being a Hulk and not what we're looking for.
Nothing to do with you being an 8-foot tall green rage monster.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you get the supporting cast. You get Samuel L. Jackson, who is Samuel L. Jackson in every movie he's in. And he's awesome.
Yeah.
Colby Smulders is really fun in this movie.
She is. She played a very good Maria Hill.
Right. And then Clark Gregg as Phil Coulson, kind of in his movie swan song.
Yeah, sadly. Well, they used him as well as they could have.
And I think I do feel that with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they still use him well. It's still the same character.
Yeah. You forgot the best supporting character of all. From Thor. He was also in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, good Lord. Christ, why can't I remember from Thor?
Skarsgård.
Oh, yes.
Skarsgård.
Stellan Skarsgård.
Yes.
You went with the second Pirates of the Caribbean movie, by the way.
Well,
that is not fair.
And the third.
Not fair. You made my point for me.
I don't mind those two. Come on.
No, he was a fine supporting character. What makes this movie and what solidifies this movie in the annals of comic book history is the scene. It's the shot. It's the 360 around once the entire team is built together.
It's the shot that shows you we're actually doing it. I mean, before that, you see all the characters, but they're not the Avengers. That's the scene when, oh shit, we've got the Avengers.
When the Hulk finally shows up, because he's like, I'm always angry, turns into the Hulk, punches the big snake robot, and then they cut to that, and it's just that full 360 around. Everyone does a little something, and the theme is swelling, and it's like that is the textbook way to shoot a superhero team movie when the team comes together, and that is something that was really lacking from Justice League, because They tried to do it like 3 different times because you just keep bringing in characters, and it fell short because it was just like, oh, here is an establishing shot. Whereas this one it moves, the camera moves, everybody does a little something, Scarlet Witch, Scarlet Johansson, Black Widow puts the clip in her gun. Thor spins his hammer a little bit. The Hulk is just
Captain America's got his shield out.
He's had this like look on his face.
Yeah.
But it's such a great shot. It's such an iconic shot.
And I mean, can we talk about the Silvestri score for a second?
Oh, it's great. I think that both themes, the because you've got the actual Avengers theme, which carries through all the movies, and then there's the one that kind of worked through at the end credits.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic work. It's iconic, even though it's not like the old days when you would build your movie around the themes, like a John Williams score, or even some, in some cases, the Danny Elfman score. But I'm being serious about that. If you think about it,
I know.
Most people can identify the Batman theme.
Yeah.
How many people can really identify the Avengers theme? Even though the Avengers theme to me, that just shows up in my head every once in a while.
Well, just watch the trailer for Infinity War, and you got it. Exactly.
So yeah, no, it is. It's really good music. It's well directed. It doesn't really let up. You don't feel the length of the movie, which is important.
Oh yeah.
When you're watching a movie that is well over 2 hours and 20 minutes long,
is it really that long?
It's that long. I mean, you can feel free to double check, but I'm pretty sure it's about 2.5 hours long.
Wow, like you were saying, it does not feel that way at all.
It doesn't feel that way at all. Well, that's the thing too, is that most modern blockbusters are going to exceed the 2-hour thing, which is why like Justice League going 90 minutes, or sorry, not 90 minutes, but just shy of 2 hours was weird.
That was the studio for you.
Yeah, no, that was the studio. Whereas this was like, it was a tight, I think I'm fairly certain it was 220. Give or take.
Looking it up.
Okay, looking it up right now.
Yeah.
But you don't feel that length at all, because there's no let up. There's no time when the alter ego has to contemplate whether or not they're going to keep doing this or not. They understand there's a mission that they have to do, and it really comes down to whether or not they're going to do it together.
Yeah, 2 hours 23 minutes.
Damn, I'm good.
And humble.
Yeah, and humble and handsome. So, all right, what didn't work in this movie?
Well, let's go with the rubber ears. The rubber ears in the room. Cap's outfit was not good.
Cap's outfit is awful. It is maybe one of the worst superhero representation costumes. I'm not gonna be kind ever.
Especially
there's a visible zipper, and you can see where they hide half of the zipper. The fact that it's essentially a hoodie.
I mean, especially coming off that really awesome costume from Captain America: The First Avenger.
Right. And we know that they could do better costumes because they did better costumes. The costume in Age of Ultron and Civil War is a much better looking costume.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what their play was with that, considering, it looked like a Halloween costume. It looked like it was made of earthly material.
Yeah, I think they were trying to go like just comic book accurate, and it's just proof that everything on the comic book page does not always translate well to the screen.
You know what's funny too? It made him look skinny.
Yeah.
Especially because they have that track shot of him and Black Widow and Hawkeye walking to the Quinjet, and it's just, he looks skinny in it.
I do love that they made a callback to that outfit in Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Oh yeah, of course, because he was a hero then. Now I'm pretty sure he's a war criminal. Really, that might be one of my few quibbles. Again, I'm an anti first 15 minutes of the movie guy, but
I I thought it was effective setup. I do agree. I mean, for me, the movie really kind of clicked, like I said, when the helicarrier started taking off, and that was about 25 minutes into the movie.
Right. Because you had to have a little bit of an establishing thing. I'm glad that they didn't go with every character.
Yeah.
So it was just like you're introduced to Natasha again. You see Tony. Tony gets the information from Coulson. You get Banner. You get Cap, and then you're on the helicarrier, and then everything else happens with Thor. And I do like too that they didn't have to overly complicate how Thor got there.
Yeah, he just they're flying along. They hear thunder, and Loki's like, "Yeah, it's not the lightning that I'm afraid of. It's what comes with it." And then, and that's really all you needed.
Let these two handle it, Cap. He's pretty much a god. There's only one god, ma'am, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
Like I said, the dialogue is just brilliant in this movie.
It is a well-written movie that doesn't take itself too seriously, but it knows when to have fun, but knows when to be serious as well. The stuff with Coulson, when he is impaled, is really hard stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and because how sudden it is. I mean, he's got Loki dead rights and something.
Yep.
And you don't see it coming. And that's classic Joss Whedon, kill off a beloved character.
Right, exactly. They brought him back, obviously, because, they're in 5 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But, but the bit, though, when Fury throws the Cap cards down and they're all covered in blood, and he was like, he had these on him. Were in his locker. They just needed a push.
And, hey, he was right.
Yeah. Going back to what worked about the movie, also the third act is just it's great because just like Civil War, you are allowed to keep track of what is going on. It's not just one big explosion fest.
Right.
So you have these scenes where you'll take two characters, move into one area. Like there's that scene of Thor and the Hulk on top of the train beating up all the Chitauri and then ending up in the building. And then they have that one great bit where they just are quiet and then boom.
They're not on the train. They're on the back of another one of those flying lizard things.
Oh, that's right. That crashes into the bank. And then that's what happens. And then, the stuff with Thor and Loki.
Yeah, and Cap is, saving all those people from the Chitauri in that building.
Yeah, they're just office buildings, which they didn't evacuate because, real life. And, with him telling the cop what to do, and the cop's like, "Who the hell are you?" And then he beats up the 3 Chitauri. He's like, "Get the guys up on the roof. Do this. Set up a perimeter."
Yeah. And I mean, then you had Black Widow saying, "Can you give me a boost?"
Oh yeah,
and he just jumps right onto the back of that. Well, Hawkeye's taking out archers on top of the building there.
The chariot. Excuse me.
And he fires that arrow at Loki. Loki catches that explodes.
Yeah. All right. I mean, obviously, we don't have much bad to say about the movie. We just went back to what worked about the movie because
puny God.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. The whole thing with Thor, with Hulk and Loki.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Thor and Loki.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, Loki and Hulk with the I am a god. And just, where? The laughter in the theater was so palpable.
And I'm so glad we could talk about that scene again in about 10 weeks,
something like that. Yeah. It's so good. Now, all right. In the grand scheme of things, in the MCU leading up to Infinity War, how does it hold up?
Very well.
Yeah, this is required viewing. If we had a rating system for this is the required viewing.
Not only that, but building up to the Infinity War, the first post-credit sequence introduces us to Infinity War's villain.
Yeah, the fact that, and the beauty was too, I had so many people asking me who was that, and then having to immediately run to Wikipedia to figure out who Thanos was.
I knew of Thanos. At first I was like, wait, what? Why have I seen that before? Who is that? That's right. Yeah, it took me a while to figure that out.
That killed every ability for the DCEU to bring in Darkseid.
Yeah, those two are
virtually the same character.
Well, let me see. One is Darkseid was Jack Kirby, and Thanos was Jim Starlin, I believe.
Yeah, it was Jim Starlin.
And I mean, those two both really could. They really know how to kind of be weird and out there.
Yeah, but they also have a penchant for purple too. So
yeah, didn't Jim Starlin also do Howard the Duck?
He may have. I'm fairly certain he did.
We'll get to him. Don't worry.
In the overall scheme of things, if you have to tell people, like, I'm only going to loan you 5 MCEU movies, this is one of them.
MCEU?
I'm sorry, MCU. Duh, I'm an idiot. Yeah. Never mind.
Yeah. Yes. This I would say this is the first movie that's really required viewing. All the others are important viewing. This is required.
It is everything is up to this point suggested viewing. This is the first required viewing. Yeah. This is a top 5 movie. I don't care how you slice it. It truly is. It is a top 5 MCU movie.
Absolutely.
And we'll see if it gets bumped, but I don't think it will.
For me, it is my number 2 movie. My number 2 favorite MCU movie.
I think it might be my number 3.
I think for most people, it's going to be in the top 3.
Right. And it's just hashtag reasons type of reasoning. So it's not really, it's not I had so many issues with this movie that the other 2 in front of it are better. I just like the other 2 better.
Yeah.
For various reasons.
Yeah.
And we'll get to those in several weeks. So next week, we go back to go into phase 2 now.
And we are back to Iron Man.
Jesus Christ. Oh, that was a nice 3 weeks off.
No, don't worry.
Much in this one, though. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about the first solo Marvel billion-dollar grosser.
Yeah, and also probably the most divisive MCU movie to date.
According to some people, it is the worst, best Marvel movie made to date.
Which I can understand, but I don't agree with, but we'll get into that.
Exactly. We're talking about Iron Man 3 after all. So, so if we missed anything, if you have any different opinions about anything, if you think I'm full of shit because I didn't like the first 15 minutes of the movie, please comment below on the video. Also, please give us a like because we do like the likes. Subscribe to Geek Salad because we have stuff coming out all the time. We last night recorded our movies of 1981 show, which should, ideally, barring rights issues, show up here on our YouTube channel. But you can also check out all of our shows at geeksalad.podbean.com, which can also be got on the Podbean app. You can also check us out on Stitcher or iTunes. And follow us on Twitter at Geek Salad Radio or email us at geeksaladradio@gmail.com or Facebook us, Geek Salad Podcast on Facebook.
Yep, pretty much it.
Good. Did I leave anything off?
Not that I could hear.
Excellent. So we will talk to you next week. Until next time, Excelsior.